What does it mean to shed the skin of who we have been, to shine the light of who we are becoming? Every great mystery school throughout history has focused on this journey of life, death, and rebirth that happens not just in the scope of one human life, but happens over and over again throughout our lives, in every phase of our lives. We see this cycle of life, death, and rebirth recapitulated, fractally speaking, in every way, whether it's in the daily rhythms of sunrise and moon cycle from new moon to full moon back to new moon, or in the yearly cycle with the high holy days that mark these transition points where we let go of who we have been to allow something new to arise. This journey of life, death, and rebirth has been something that I have been fascinated with from my very early years. Very fascinated with this idea of the cyclical return, this divine feminine wisdom. The very root of the Inanna story, of the Venus retrograde story, is embedded with this journey. Inanna comes as queen of the heavens into the underworld, and she descend through those 7 gateways until she is naked and she is killed by one stare, struck dead by Ereshkigal, and hangs on the meat hook for 3 days. This archetypal primordial story from 3500 BC, that's over 5,000 years ago now, holds the seeds of the great mystery of what it is to go through life, being born, dying, and reborn through every cycle. For me personally, this has been something that I have not just studied as a scholarly pursuit, but really the last 9 years of my life, I have been involved in a deep and underworld, powerful journey to really come to understand the mappings that I've been given that I'm now here to share with you. So for the next few minutes, I'm going to take you through a presentation of shedding your skin and shining your light. And the tool that I'm going to be using for that is the Magdalene Rose Oracle. It's a beautiful journey through the mystical rose, through the rose journey. I have come to understand that one of the teaching tools of the Magdalene was embedded within the ancient rose. This was perhaps the earliest symbol of Christianity. In fact, in my own lexicon, I often refer to the Christianity that was originally being taught as more of a mystery school and was a rose Christianity, a rose mystery school that was embodying these teachings of Yeshua and Magdalene that were really here to serve us in the journey of spiritual maturation, those moments when we are called to die and let go of who we have been in order to be resurrected into a new form. So what I'd like to do with you for the next few minutes is take you through a very quintessential version of this Rose Oracle journey with the Magdalene as our guide. So settle in and I will take us. I'm going to be giving you a handout that's a PDF that will give you a little more information, but we are going to dive right in to the heart of this mystery that is the Magdalene Rose and how she helps us to come into a deeper sense of what it is to mature spiritually. So here we are. The Magdalene Rose Oracle is here for us to reclaim the power of the feminine magic that we live within. And I was just recently at the Chalice Well blessing this oracle deck. This was the place actually 9 years ago where I received the very first seeds of what is to become this Magdalene Rose journey of death and rebirth, of this process that the rose takes us through of life, death, and rebirth. This is taken from the small booklet that's at the beginning of the cards, and so I wanted to just read this to you. We have been waiting in the darkness, gestating our hearts and wombs. We have steeped ourselves in the womb of the mother, drinking her rich blood force. We have always been here, sisters of the rose. We have always been cold when the moment is ripe, when it looks like destruction is ripping apart, When the place between the worlds is rent asunder and chaos ensues, we have always been called. We who have the heart to be with all of this and to stay in love. I call you now, sister of my heart. I call you urgently and fervently. I call you from the depth of my womb. I call you from the deepest places within that are stirring, that are being awakened within you. I call you to be here now. For you, daughter of mine, are an alchemist, and the elixir is love. You are a vessel of brilliance, a vessel called present to a powerful and beautiful transmutation. 2,000 years ago, Mary Magdalene planted the seeds of the way of love, and these seeds have been gestating within us, and they are ready to bloom in our hearts and our wombs. But there's a great imbalance that needs to be restored. Those of us who are Magdalenas like you have been called forward once again now in this lifetime to amplify the Magdalene in all of her frequencies. We have been given the signal to return and step fully into our magic, to be audacious, awakened, and unapologetically shameless, erotically embodied in our own power, in our beauty, and in our sovereignty. We are the sisterhood of the rose, the Mavens, the high priestesses, the sovereign queens, the ecstatic alchemists, the Rosa Mysticas, and the death maidens. We are here now. Within you, my love, lies a sacred womb, a portal between the worlds. You're wired to birth incredible beauty to this world. You are here, and I say holding this oracle in your hands, but what I really mean is you are here as a living face of the oracle of the rose. And we each are being called to reclaim the powers encoded within our blood, breath, and bones. These powers that have been etched within us, they're seeds that we've carried, that you've carried within our collective womb for thousands of years. Your remembrance of this magical path awaits you. The mystic rose is waiting to bloom within you through your awakening and remembrance of the magic. The power is within you. Are you ready to be awakened and initiated into your mastery? And there's another piece here. We're receiving timeless ancient codes of light and teachings, and the time is now. I know you feel this, my love. We've been waiting for this moment. Our mothers and their mothers and their mothers before them have prayed us upon their lips. We're the daughters of the witches they didn't burn, of the priestesses who held the secrets in their treasured terma buried beneath the earth. We are the inheritors of the scriptures, the books, the remembrance, and the artists who encoded the paintings hermetically with symbols so we'd remember, see, and awaken sacred teachings from the gnosis that lives in each one of our hearts, in our blood, in our breath, in our bones. We are here to awaken. We're here now, being remembered in the gaze of each other. We're like a mycelial network of the great root system of remembrance. Gaia herself is growing back into this consciousness of Sophia as Gaia through the bodies of millions of women and men who know that the reverence of the feminine is here to be embodied once again. This, my loves, this death and rebirth cycle is the reclamation of our sacred body, our sacred temple, and our sacred teachings. It's the reinstatement and the remembrance of the Magdalene sisters, the Watchtower women, who are here to say that this disrespect and dishonoring of the feminine that has occurred for the past thousands of years are no longer acceptable. We're exclaiming, not on my watch. As Magdalene sisters, as sisters of the rose, we say, I am here now. I see, I hear, I speak. I am here now. Fully awakened and embodied, I am on the journey of the divine human, becoming fully anthropos. I am here to awaken my soul's maturity, to awaken my feminine magic, my birthright as an alchemist, as a Magdalena, as one who is here to transform through my own body, to birth a new world through my attention and intention. I am here now. And so I'm going to stop sharing this for a moment and come back in just a second, because I want you to feel that our journey to shed a skin, to shine our light, is not simply our individual journey, although the map serves that too. But it is also here, the mystic rose, this spiritual maturity, the awakened Christed heart that is waiting for us to step into it, not just as an individual, but as a collective. Magdalene as a consciousness is, yes, connected, of course, deeply into Mary Magdalene's story, and her as an incredible historical woman who is a priestess, an orator, a teacher, a high initiate. But there is also something that you may have noticed in the collective, which is something is being rebirthed through us, and it could be called the collective Magdalene consciousness. It is the aspect of us that you see rising up, remembering the dignity and the respect and the reverence and the power and the tenderness and the ferocity, the boldness of love. And so we are all being called to remember this pathway of the rose, and the rose holds this extraordinarily quintessential journey of what it looks like for us to mature through many cycles, from seed to bud, to full bloom, to fragrant bloom, back to rosehip again. We will travel this cycle many times in one lifetime. And when we start to understand this cyclical nature of our being, when we start to engage with these phases, each one so beautiful, each one so magnificent, we start to appreciate exactly where we are in our own journey. We begin to embrace life and death and rebirth. So I'd love to take you into the majesty, the mystery of the Magdalene Rose as it has been gifted to me over the last 9 years of deep study and contemplation and inner practice, and is now here for you. And I think that this map is one that lives within our bodies, and as we name it and we hear it coming through the lensing of the Magdalene, we begin to connect with how this cycle, this rose sisterhood, this rose mystery is rising up at this time to guide us, to guide all of us with where we stand as humanity that needs to reawaken love and to come to understand what love actually is, the thousands of faces of love. And so let us dive in a little deeper, shall we? And so I want to take you through this journey, and you're going to recognize it because you've been on this journey, whether it's conscious or not. And this is just another fractal, another lens, another way. And what I've come to learn in my own journey through the Magdalene, through the sacred teachings of the Rose, is that this cyclical journey, this journey that is embedded within Inanna's journey of 5,000 years ago, that is at the heart of the lunar journey, the heart of the cycle of the wheel of the year, of the cycle of our lives, of the epochs, is fractally embedded in every cell of our being. You could say that we are designed to go through life, death, and rebirth many times in one lifetime. And the teachings of Miriam and Yeshua, of Mary Magdalene and Jesus Christ, were the teachings that embedded this knowing of the second life, of being born again, if you will, through this life, through our engagement with our deep humanity. We are awakening our spirituality. And in fact, this term that they would speak about very often in the journey of spiritual maturation was to do with the awakening of the anthropos, the divine human, the awakened human. The human had gone into a marriage between our spirituality and our humanity, not through transcending humanity, but through engaging with the depth of the initiation of being here on planet Earth as a human being. So this journey takes us through these six, and the six is very deliberate because it's connected into the six petals of the Magdalene rose, of the flower of life, of that sacred geometry that is found on the stone of Magdala. It is a deeply embedded sacred geometry all over the world. And there are six phases to the journey that travel from the red Maven to the high priestess, to the sovereign queen, to the Rosa Mystica, to the ecstatic alchemist, and to the death maiden. And this journey has us go through the birth and then the maturation to the death point to be again reborn. And you might see these as a circle rather than a linear line. The red Maven brings us into the energy of the ruby earth feminine. She's the creatrix. She activates the root power of our creativity. She is the empty cauldron out of which all life is born. And she connects us into the blood power of our lineages, blood lineages that lead us back to the very first woman that ever was, that reconnect us into the power of nourishment through our blood. And she holds the lineage seal of the red rose, of the womb shamankas, of the womb shamans, of those of us who are connected into lineages of women who have always been deeply into the blood mysteries and the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. That root is seeded into the earth, and it is the root of the rose that is yet to grow but is hidden in the dark caverns. And the next phase of growth that comes, archetypally speaking, is we go into the high priestess energy of the sapphire lunar feminine. Here we meet the incantrix, and here we feel the energy of the one who is the creatrix, speaking into form through language, through symbol, through imagery, through the imaginal realm. This is the magician aspect of our consciousness, of our feminine magic. It is our ability to speak things into being, abracadabra, meaning I speak, as spoken so appears in form. And this is the bud aspects of growth in the sacred rose. And she brings us into the bud, the activation of the pineal gland, the awakening of the spark of genius that we are, that is here to be incarnated in this next cycle of our expression as beautiful beings of light, dancing with light and dark. She brings the power of the chalice and activates gnosis. Gnosis can be described as a direct mystical experience where you have a direct access point and experience of the divine within you. She carries the seal of the blue rose, the magicians, the magi, the ones who are the alchemists working with the magic, working with the words and the symbols and the images. The sovereign queen calls us forward to the solar gold feminine. She's the initiatrix. She is the one who holds the sword. And she is that waxing bloom phase where we are neither open nor closed fully. We are somewhere in between the tension point. The potential of what is coming into form through us is beginning to be seen and felt, but not yet fully. She goes from the bud to the waxing bloom phase, and she is initiated with the sword of truth and authenticity and what is actually real and true, and brings us into an activation around our sovereign power, coming to our sovereign thrones, finding our inner shape. Integrity means to hold your shape. She holds the seal of the yellow rose, the sovereign queens. We could think here of Boudica and Queen Nefertiti, of Helen of Troy and Cleopatra. We could think of Joan of Arc, Thalastrius, these
Aw.
extraordinary, powerful leaders in the world. She activates our spiritual warrioress and the leaders who stand watching empires fall and be rebirthed again.
That's awesome. Honestly, like it just
Then we
feels so
come to the
good.
phase of growth that is the Rosa
Yeah,
Mystica, the
doesn't it?
rose gold feminine, heralding in the one who is the devotrix,
I mean,
the
even
one
if
who
it's
is
just
holding her heart open.
even
She is the full bloom, the Christed heart who has been tempered through many initiations of heartbreak, of loss, of abandonment.
and worthy of following
She is the
her
one
heart.
who has gone through life awakening the compassion in her heart, awakening the open heart.
I don't know if
And
it
she
makes you
brings
feel
with her
that
the
I'm like
flaming
quite
heart
excited.
and the power of the awakened
Yeah,
Christed
and I
heart
haven't met him,
and the
but
seal of the
I think
pink
that you should
rose. All
definitely.
those who have
I
ever
mean, life is
walked the
giving you a
path
gift,
of the awakened
whatever it
Christed
is.
heart on the planet. And she gives
Yeah.
way as that full bloom now comes dripping with nectar to the ecstatic
I
alchemist, the
would agree with
fire
that,
opal feminine, the
honestly.
enchantrix, the
Yeah.
one who is the dripping nectar of the rose, who is beyond open now and is releasing her fragrance so fully to the
Yeah, you're
world.
probably
This is the alchemical body. This is the erotic power awakened, where Eros is not just about sex, but is about the magnetic pull together of all life force. It's the honeybee dripping with the nectar coming out of the flower. It's the hummingbird with the long beak penetrating to the center of the flower to drink the
Respond.
sweetness of
Amanda
life.
gathers in the
It is the
dance.
one who knows that she is here to be awakened in her body
He
and
overcomes
that
the
her
overwhelm.
power comes from that place. And the orange rose
Yeah.
seals that journey with the tantrikas, with the
Yes,
kadeshas,
I'm.
with the sacred movement of our sexuality and Eros as pure creative life force.
Laura.
And
You
then,
can
of
see the
course, we
glorious
come
suns.
to the death maiden.
Yeah.
One side
In
is life with the red maven, and the
she
other is
said,
death with the death maiden.
uh,
The black
well,
pearl feminine.
she
And
is
here we
holding it
meet
red.
the illuminatrix,
Sent me a video, but you
who
probably
is the
seen the video,
rose
so
hip
it's not
phase
for
of
me.
growth where she has dropped her petals
And
and her essence is now returning to the
that she wouldn't
center.
travel for them.
She holds the alabaster jar, which
She wouldn't go
holds
to
the
see them meet the
beautiful
king to her.
essence of her own being as she releases her physical form.
So
She is the still
whatever
power,
that's
and
worth.
she
I
is the
mean,
lineage seal of the black rose of the miraphors,
I
of the
think
death doulas, of the
I think I
grief
probably feel the
walkers,
same way. I don't know.
the transition
I think
priestesses.
just the fact that it's
This is an
a release
extraordinary,
party, and we know how
powerful
epic they've
way
been.
that we get to
So the fact that you're offering to
visualize
pay for it
our
is another
journey through
plus.
life, death, and
And
rebirth. This journey through the six phases, through the hexagram, through the through the
oh really,
the
I don't.
mandala of the six petaled rose
Well,
that I tattooed on my wrists 10 years ago as a signal of beginning this
how many people
cycle
can get in?
is embedded within us. It is a wisdom that is something that's intrinsic, primal, you could say,
And that's how
primordial.
many they have left to let in.
We all know this. And this journey, as it's come through me, and this offering of the Magdalene rose, and this journey of shedding our skins and shining our light more fully, is one that we are in, whether
So
we're
it's great
conscious of
having
it or
you
not.
here for
And the Magdalene comes to us at this moment to say,
right?
bring your consciousness to this, my
I
love.
can't see it.
Bring
Okay,
your
we're supposed to
consciousness
do that.
to this now, my love.
I can't go
For
on any
this
floor. I could go
is what we
probably
are
over
being
there.
called to recognize, that we are creatrixes. We are incantrixes, we are initiatrixes, we are devotrixes.
Oh,
We
I
are
could
the
reach.
feminine
Or I could probably
power
push it
being
to 6 if I
reclaimed
had to.
as the magic
So
that
I
it
don't know.
is.
I
That is
obviously
what's
have to
being
drive
reborn in
to get
this
in.
moment, the magic, the
For the
mystery,
simple
the
fact that I need
power.
to prepare. I don't
And so I'd
know. I
like
don't
to
know if I want
end
to.
my presentation in just a moment by sharing with you this next piece,
And I
which will
think
bring
that
us
one
into the connection of
way of dealing with
seeing
it is
the
maybe a lot
visual
of people will
of each one of these cards. So this is the main archetype card for each one of the suits. The creatrix here sits in the suit of the red maven, and you'll see she has the DNA Mobius strip, and she is pregnant with the possibility of all life. And then comes the incantrix, who is connecting up to the heavens and is able to bring her deep power forward in a way where she is accessing the wider imaginal realm of all that is possible. And then we come to the initiatrix, the balancing of the sacred masculine and feminine, and the power of being fully here embodied as a leader, to the devotrix, who is allowing the softness and the open heart to come forward, to name the love, to the incantrix, the enchantrix, who is here as the one who brings us into the consciousness of our power of Eros, to the illuminatrix, who is guiding the way between the realms. So what I'd like to bring you into as we close this very brief presentation on this journey is into the reading for the Death Maiden, for the Illuminatrix. The Death Maiden, Illuminatrix. I am the Death Maiden. I am the Illuminatrix. I am the threshold between the worlds of form and formlessness. I am she who holds you as you slip between the veils of the worlds, the visible and the invisible. I am the beginning and the ending, life, death, and rebirth. I am the promise of immortality and resurrection, and I stand at the gateway, holding the lamp of illumination that comes from the distillation of your soul's essence. I am the silence and the still power, and I am she who signals that there is a great transition underway. I bring you to the still point and whisper in your ear that it's time to take a journey into the underworld, to shed your skin and reveal the greater truth of who is here now. I am the Ouroboros eating her tail. I am the place of rest and regeneration. I am the resurrection awaits you in the darkness. I'm the great fertile void to which everything is composted. And I am here to take the old garments that keep you and have kept you clothed in a form that's no longer alive, and anoint you with a garment of illumination, a robe of light. I am the wick of the candle that is lit, and I hold the door open so you may let go, release, step over the threshold. Receiving this card in your reading is an initiation with the Illuminatrix. As the face of the Magdalene, who is the Death Maiden, you're being initiated to let go. There's something that's ready to be complete, but maybe you've been avoiding it. It's like an old skin stopping you from being able to grow. And perhaps this is in a relationship or a job or even a part of yourself. Whatever it is, and you know what it is, it's time to acknowledge that it no longer lights you up and keeps you feeling vibrant. It's time for you to see this clearly now with conscious awareness. You may be feeling a fear of letting go or a fear of release, of the death, of an ending. And you may resist the change you know is coming or is required for you to move more fully into your radiance. And so if you've been holding on tightly, hoping that if you just close your eyes and ignore it, it'll go away, know that this won't happen, beloved. It will slip through your fingers just like sand. You can't hold on to it anymore. harder you try, the more choked off from its lifeblood it becomes, and the less alive you feel. I am here to signal you that there may be grief you need to feel around this release, and if so, recognize the beauty of this grief as it moves through you. Do not hold back or be fearful of your precious tears. Grieving is living, and living is grieving, and everything ends, and everything begins again, and everything ends, and everything begins again. Consider this, my love. What are you holding on to so tightly that you're afraid to release?
Sorry, I have two things going on. I'm listening to
So, my love,
bought the
I invite
conference that I
you to
went to in
consider
England.
what it is
And
that is ready to be
I'm
released
taping it
within
because they
you.
only gave us a little bit of time.
At this phase of
Anyways,
the sacred mystic rose
I
journey and
love
the
this
Rosa
lady that
Mystica,
she's
the
doing the
death
Magdalene
maiden
Rose
signals
way.
us
I'm gonna
to
maybe
let
look up her
go,
priestessing way.
to let something
Anyways,
die, that something else may
with
be born
respect
through
to him,
us. And
I'm
so
kind
that
of too busy to like
is
get into it
the
right now.
deeper inquiry of this offering to you.
But
If you are curious about how to
just
access the
an
Magdalene Rose
overview
Oracle, you can
that
go to magdaleneroseoracle.com, and that is where you will
he's
find
helping right now.
information about the cards, and also where you can procure them for yourself if you're called to have your
Will
own
those words
deck.
apply to you?
It's my great honor to share this with you. Many,
That's why
many
I feel
blessings.
like I was so excited to hear that because it's confirmation of what I'm getting. Alright. Thank you. Do you think it's wrong that I give Jake 2 chicken breasts? No. Okay. A lot of protein. Yeah. I give 1 to each of us and then 2 to him, and then I think, what the hell am I causing problems? But then I think, no, he's a big guy. And that's what he wants. If he's full, he won't eat it. Right. And he always does.